If you don't have enough PC knowledge, trust me when I say it's pretty easy buying a system that is not going to deliver the performance that you were expecting. Less FPS than advertised, in other words, getting scammed. Finding a good Prebuilt PC under $1,000 might be a difficult task if you don't have the knowledge. And most people fall into the trap of buying a PC that's just nice or have a bunch of RGB lights, but components inside of these systems are a complete trash. Luckily for you, I will give you my top 5 gaming PCs under $1,000 that are actually not a scam, and most importantly, will deliver the performance that you're looking for. And don't worry, I'll specifically tell you what these PCs are capable of running and expected frame rates for different type of games. All of these computers will be linked down below in the video description, alongside Prebuilt PCs that I recommend you buying for every single budget, which is important for you if your budget is above $1,000. With that being said, let's start. With the first PC and the cheapest one on the list, this is the ultra budget HP Pavilion gaming desktop. Now, if you have below $610, I recommend you buying either the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, or the PS5. Those will give you the best performance for the price. So below that price, Prebuilt PCs are usually a scam, so I wouldn't recommend you buying a PC for those type of prices. Now this one has the GTX 1650 Super and the i3 10100 alongside 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of NVMe SSD. This PC is actually a really good performer at 1080p, and I consider this price a pretty good price for the PC in terms of pre-built systems. Of course, if you want to build it by yourself, you can get a much better performance. That's why I recommend you watching my playlist of PC builds. You will have it in the top right of the screen. But anyway, this PC will be capable of running games like Fortnite, CSGO and Valorant at above 140 FPS on average, of course depending on the settings, and it's also going to be capable of running games like GTA 5 at 60 plus FPS on high settings, which is once again really good for the price. But anyway, I do recommend you upgrading the RAM and the SSD down the line if you can't do it right now, which is completely understandable. So down the line, if you can do this upgrade, and it will make your PC faster, but you will also have more storage for more games. With the next one, we have the Skytech Chronos. This one has the Ryzen 3 3100 and the GTX 1660 Super, which is much better than the 1650 Super when it comes to performance. So here you will achieve higher FPS. You also get 500 gigs of SSD, so you get more storage, and a 600 watt 80 plus volt power supply, so you get more upgradability as well. On top of that, you get 16 gigs of RAM, so no need to upgrade the RAM there. This is DDR4 3200 MHz RAM, which is the standard for gaming, and I would pick this PC instead of the last one if you can extend your budget, mainly because you don't have to upgrade anything, you get better airflow, and most importantly, you get more upgradability. Let's say you want to upgrade the CPU down the line, you can do this pretty easily because it's a system integrator, so that's something to bear in mind. Now with this PC, there's no game that you can't run at 1080p at least 60 FPS on average, no matter the type of game, even games like Red Dead Redemption 2. And if you want to play esports titles, it's going to perform at above 144 FPS and even above 240 depending on the game and depending on the settings. But games like CSGO and Valorant, 240 FPS won't be an issue. So if you can extend your budget, I think that this one is the best PC for you at $700 if you want something that's upgradable. But if you want the best performance for $700, I do recommend you buy the BigTooth 15L, but you have to keep in mind that I do recommend you also upgrading this PC, and you don't have to do this yourself. You can go ahead and click on customize and buy and change components, which I will talk about which components I recommend you upgrading in a second. But this one has the i5 12400, which is a much better CPU than the last one, and it's also a good CPU for content creation. And you also get the 1660 Super, 8 gigs of RAM, at least this is dual channels, so the performance won't be bad. And then you get 256 gigs of SSD. Now the last two components that I mentioned, I recommend you upgrading, the RAM and the storage. And like I said before, you can do this from the website if you don't want to make these upgrades yourself. But anyway, this PC will perform really similar to the last one, but you will have an advantage over the games that are high CPU demanding, and also when doing content creation and multitasking. And the base price is the same, but once again, I do recommend you doing some upgrades. With the next one, we have a $950 gaming desktop. This is a bit more expensive, but trust me, it's worth the price difference. We are talking about the iBuy Pro from Amazon. Here you get the Ryzen 5 5600G, a really capable CPU, just slightly worse than the Ryzen 5 5600X, with the RTX 3060, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and 500 gigs of SSD. And this PC, I think it's a high-end 1080p gaming desktop because not only you will be able to play every single game, but you also get ray tracing. Of course, it's an entry level of ray tracing. Don't expect to run really heavy games with ray tracing 60 plus FPS, because this is a 3060, but if you want to play games at 1080p ultra settings 60 plus FPS without any issues, this one is the one for you. And for esports titles, this one will perform at above 240 FPS, no matter the title that we are talking about, except for Warzone. That one is pretty heavy to run, but other than Warzone, you will be able to run everything at 240 FPS. And for Warzone, you will be able to run this game at around 130, 140 on low settings. It's actually on a discount right now. You end up saving $350, so that's something that you should keep in mind. Maybe when you're watching this video, it's not on sale anymore and it's going to be around 1200 bucks. At that price point, I do not recommend you buying this PC because you can get better PCs for that price. And then with the last one, we have the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop TG01-2176. This one is really similar to the last one, but here you get two differences. You also get 1TB of hard drive and the 500 SSD that you get on the last one. So you get 1.5 TB of the storage, which is much more than the last one. So if you're thinking of downloading a bunch of games, this one is already the best option. But you also get a better CPU. You get the Ryzen 7 5700G, which is better than the 5600G. So if you're thinking of doing multitasking, and it's going to be better for gaming overall as well, this one will be a better option. It has a better performance than the last one for the same price. That's why it's on number 1 and the other one is at number 2. But if you want something that's upgradable, then go with the last one. But if you just want to plug and play and have the best performance, then go with this one. But before buying any of these systems, you need to have the right monitor, because trust me when I say that millions of people get a PC that's either too powerful for the type of monitor that they have, which leads to wasting PC performance, or having a monitor that's too powerful for their PC, which can cause performance drops or losing money. That's why I made it easy for you with my monitors guide that I recommend you watching in the cards located in the top right of the screen. And if you have any questions, not only about these PCs, but also maybe you want to buy a PC build, a pre-build, or whatever question that you have, let me know in the comment section. I will reply as fast as possible. And of course, I do recommend you subscribing, but most importantly, hitting the bell button, because I try to upload posts every single day for different deals. So if you want to get notified for these deals for both PC builds and Prebuilt PCs, trust me, hit the bell button, you won't regret it. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.